I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Whew, I'm exhausted, and the show has just started. That was from what happened today. Just watching what was happening inside the courtroom, taking my notes, trying to figure this all out. Unbelievable. As you know, I'm a former prosecutor, and that's kind of the way I see the world. And thinking about this case as a prosecutor, if it was my job to make a determination and to prosecute the case against Johnny Depp for abuse, for sexual assault, I'll be honest with you, I myself would have a lot of reasonable doubts. And that's the standard in a criminal case, right? As a prosecutor, I'd have to prove the case beyond any and all reasonable doubt. Do I believe that I could prove the allegations by Amber Heard beyond a reasonable doubt? No way. No way. Not based upon what we have seen take place during the course of this trial. Whether it's the testimony of Amber Heard, the testimony of Johnny Depp, the testimony of other witnesses, the inconsistencies, the recordings, everything. I would have reasonable doubts, which me as an ethical prosecutor would not bring the case. I wouldn't bring the case. I just don't think there is enough. And there's enough doubt in my mind that I wouldn't bring it. Because prosecutors are not supposed to bring cases they don't believe they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, this is not a criminal case. This is civil litigation, although it might be the most uncivil civil litigation we've ever seen here on Court TV, because all of the allegations back and forth are criminal in nature. The allegations are, whether it's Johnny getting hit by Amber or Amber getting sexually assaulted by Johnny, all of that is criminal behavior. Make no mistake about it. But it's a civil litigation. So nobody has to prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt. Johnny Depp doesn't have to prove defamation beyond a reasonable doubt. Amber Heard doesn't have to prove defamation beyond a reasonable doubt. But more importantly, Amber Heard doesn't have to prove her case beyond a reasonable doubt. And this is significant. This is important, okay? Because you watch this trial, and if you thought it was a criminal trial, Johnny Depp is on. No, that's not what's happening. And Amber Heard does not have to prove that Johnny Depp did this stuff beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a much different standard. Beyond a reasonable doubt is the highest standard that our system of justice has. It's much, much, much lower. It's just more than 50%, a preponderance of the evidence. And that's how this case is going to go when it's time for the jury to figure it out. You know, is she lying or is she not lying? And it's just that much that the jurors have to be convinced. Anything over 50% wins this case for either side. That's why I said off the top, if I was a prosecutor, wouldn't bring it. But that's not the standard for this one, folks. So in this case, there are some allegations, outrageous allegations. And when I say outrageous, I mean, if it's true, this is outrageous behavior. And really, it all goes back to Australia. To me, that is the most violent accusation in all of this, in what happened down there to Amber Heard and what happened to Johnny Depp. You know, you've got the alleged sexual assault with the bottle. You've got Johnny Depp's finger being severed. And what this jury has to figure out is, okay, to figure out who's telling the truth, you know, which came first? I think that's significant. And you know, it's been hazy in my head. And I was like, is it just me? I'm not taking good notes as I listen to the testimony? Am I not understanding exactly what the allegation is about what happened in Australia over the course of 3 days? Like, who was where? When did this happen? When did this next thing happen? But it wasn't me. It was not me who couldn't figure it out because I wasn't paying attention to the testimony, or it just wasn't, you know, making sense to me. It's because the testimony itself is very unclear. And this is significant because of the violent nature of these accusations. It's important to say, is it plausible that this could have happened? And a lot of that may have to do with the order in which these events took place, that Johnny Depp loses his finger, that Johnny Depp allegedly sexually assaults Amber Heard with a bottle. Which came first? Big issue on cross-examination today. Take a listen.
You testified in this courtroom that after Mr. Depp smashed the phone, he held you down on the countertop by the neck. Do you remember that?
I'm not quite sure of the exact sequence of things, but yes, both of those things happened.
Okay. Well, we'll get to the sequence. And this is when Mr. Depp supposedly assaulted you with a bottle, right?
On the countertop, he assaulted me.
So Mr. Depp was able to get you on the counter, right?
He held me down by my neck.
And hold you down by your neck.
That is correct.
And he grabbed a bottle, according to you, while holding you down by the neck, correct?
I'm sorry, can you clarify what you're asking me?
While Mr. Depp is holding you by the neck against the countertop, he grabs a bottle. That's your testimony.
No, those two things didn't happen at the exact same time, no.
So he's holding the bottle, is that your testimony? While holding you down by the neck?
Sorry, what was your question?
Your testimony is, Ms. Heard, that either he has the bottle before or after he's holding you by the neck on the counter. Is that your testimony?
He held me by the neck on the counter.
Where's the bottle that he assaulted
At what
with?
point?
While holding you down by your neck.
When he was assaulting me with the bottle, it was in his hand.
Okay. Was it in his hand before or after he holds you down by your neck?
I was being held down while he assaulted me with the bottle.
When he puts you on the counter, does he have the bottle in his hand, yes or no?
As I have always said, I don't remember exactly what happened first, or I don't remember the sequence. I just remember being aware that I was being assaulted by a bottle while I was on the countertop.
So he penetrates you with this bottle. But you don't know how he got the bottle, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And he did that right after he lost the tip of his right middle finger.
Again, I don't remember the exact sequence of those events.
We'll get to the sequence. And while he was on 8 to 10 MDMA pills, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the sequence. This is the sequence of events you testified to in this courtroom. That he smashed the phone to smithereens and then assaulted you, lost the tip of his finger, and then assaulted you with a bottle. Yes, that's the sequence of events that you testified to in this courtroom.
To be clear, you're putting it in order when you say words like then. I have never claimed that I can remember the exact sequence of these things. This was a multi-day assault that took place over 3 horrible days.
Ms. Heard,
it's the worst thing ever happened to me. I don't remember
Ms. Heard,
the exact sequence.
that's not my question. My question isn't about the 3-day assault, allegedly, that occurred. I'm just talking about the sexual assault that you now allege occurred.
Yeah,
okay?
That's correct.
To me, the sequence is everything in trying to figure out the plausibility of the allegations by Amber Heard here. Because if his finger is severed first, to me, it's much more difficult to believe that a sexual assault took place next, if he has severed his finger first. But as I said, right, it's not clear from the testimony, the order of this, Amber Heard admitting that. I just don't know which happened first, the severed finger or the sexual assault. Let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Camille Painter, joining us live from outside the courthouse in Fairfax County, Virginia tonight. Camille, to me, this has always been a very significant event because it's the most violent. It's the one that, if it's true, it is a horrific crime. Either way, right? The severing of the finger or the sexual assault or, you know, whatever's in between, right? This is just so
Absolutely.
Violent, so outrageous. Tell us more about some of the cross-examination and what the jury is left with in this story about what happened in Australia.
Yeah, Camille Vasquez began her cross really about what happened in Australia 2015, not long after they were married. Of course, he's there filming Pirates of the Caribbean 5, and this is what Amber Heard characterized as a 3-day hostage situation. She claims Johnny Depp, high on 8 to 10 MDMA pills, really assaulted her physically and, of course, sexually over the course of 3 days. And it was an intense moment, really a dramatic moment, sitting in the courtroom, Vinny, when Camille was trying to nail down the order of what happened and when it happened. She started with the phone that was mounted to the wall, where Amber Heard alleges that Johnny Depp slammed this mounted phone into the wall over and over again as if it was her head, saying that he hated her. And that's allegedly how possibly he severed his finger, which is also unclear according to Amber Heard's version of events. And you're right, if that happened first and then he assaults her with this liquor bottle, which the jury was shown that bottle again on the screen, it's confusing. And it can really be interesting how this is taken. Is this a traumatic situation where someone can't remember the details in order, or is it what Depp's team hopes this jury believes, which is that she embellished and elaborated to the point that she really can't say because they say it's made up. So let's watch a part, though, because Camille uses several methods or avenues to try to contradict Amber's version of events that happened, including audio recordings and some photos that she even took, you know, those messages on the mirrors, Vinny, those type of photos that Amber admitted she took. And there was one point where Camille said, so you're taking photos of blood on a mirror with paint that your husband wrote while he's bleeding out of his finger. That was a key moment, but also this moment was key. Let's watch.
Mr. Depp lost the tip of his finger after you threw a bottle at him. Isn't that right?
That is incorrect.
You're the one who assaulted someone with a bottle in Australia. Isn't that right, Miss Heard?
I didn't assault Johnny in Australia. I didn't assault Johnny ever. I couldn't.
And then after he was injured, he had to hide from you, right?
That is incorrect.
5 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms.
That is incorrect.
And you would pursue him.
That is incorrect.
This line of questioning came after Camille played an audio recording with the couple allegedly discussing what happened in Australia, where Depp basically says he tried to stay away from her. Camille says, isn't that what really happened in Australia? And of course, Vinny, Amber Heard vehemently denies all of that.
This is so crucial. I thought was some of the most effective cross-examination because of the nature of the allegations in Australia, and we're getting 2 completely different pictures here. And Depp and his team, Camille Vasquez, leading the charge here on cross-examination, that Johnny's trying to get away from her the whole time, and she's pursuing him from bathroom to bathroom to bathroom, and it was. You know, the jury's got to believe one or the other. There's no in-between ground here. Someone is attacking someone. Someone is going after someone. Someone is trying to get away. And it can be, I thought I was confused, but it's because it's not 100% clear. We're going to try to figure all that out. And we're going to take a look at a lot more of the cross-examination. But while I have you here, right now, she did complete her testimony today. So what other testimony did the jury hear today?
Yeah, the defense case rolled on, Vinny, with some video depositions of key players and names this jury has heard repeatedly in other testimony, including her friend, Io Tillett Wright, who was on the phone with Amber and could hear Johnny Depp during the May 21st, 2016 incident at the penthouse where Amber says Johnny threw a cell phone in her face, and that led to the restraining order and, of course, their divorce. And he effectively really seemed to come across via video. He wasn't in person, obviously, so he's in video, but he became emotional when he recounted what he overheard Johnny Depp yelling at Amber in that fight, saying that, you know, Johnny Depp threatened to peel Heard's hair back in the phone call and some other threats, so he called 911. Also, after his deposition ended, the defense called Rocky Pennington, a pre-recorded deposition, Vinny, and Rocky Pennington is someone who lived up there at the pit house with Johnny Depp, same floor, rent-free with her fiance at the time, Josh Drew, and it's just underway. We heard about 30 minutes or so of her testimony where she's kind of setting the stage of how she met Amber Heard. They're no longer friends, by the way, but that what she started to observe as far as Johnny Depp when he was behaving and drinking, and Amber as well. So her testimony continues tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I was shocked when I heard that, because all along Amber Heard's talking about my best friend, my best friend, my best friend, and then she's testifying, we're not friends anymore. Wow. All right, Shanley Painter, thank you so much. We'll speak again in just a little bit. I want to bring in, joining me right now in New York City, psychotherapist, host of Talking Live on Facebook Watch and the Bite Side podcast, Dr. Robbie Ludwig. And I have the question that Shanley was really bringing up in our discussion about Australia and the sequence of events. Can trauma cause you to not remember when you were sexually assaulted versus when your husband's finger was severed. Two big events that took place in Australia. And from her testimony, some point during the course of 3 days, but she cannot remember which happened first. Does that sound consistent with what could happen during a traumatic event like that?
Absolutely. It's not uncommon for those who have experienced trauma to not have access to the accuracy of the memory. They may see certain pieces of the event. They have an emotional feeling. In some cases, it can create amnesia, where the actual trauma doesn't surface until the psyche is strong enough to remember the incident that happened. I guess the interesting idea that's being explored here is a credibility issue. So are we seeing Amber struggling with this testimony because of true trauma, or are we seeing her struggle because it's something that she constructed or embellished? And as a woman, nobody wants to accuse another woman who's been victimized as falsifying a statement. We know it does happen. We certainly want everyone who has been victimized to feel comfortable coming forth. And there's the challenge, when you come forth, they almost are treated like they are not telling the truth. So there is the challenge there. But that's the problem in this whole trial. It seems to be a credibility issue, and who seems to be most credible.
Yeah, and they just have to be just that much more credible than the other. That's it. That's all they need in this case. Dr. Robbie Ludwig staying with us. When we come back, we're going to talk about the honeymoon. That came up again on cross-examination. The honeymoon on the Orient Express is next.